So the path to that dream is that Joseph, of course, knew the dream was from God. And then from there, he went to know that he trusted the path that the Lord led him. The path that was so difficult, because now he's taken to slavery, as in that is isolation. At some point, he is even accused and jailed for some time. So you see, that is isolation, abandonment, and even, to a point whereby there is no hope anymore. So for him, he was left for the dead. But then he trusted in God. And in our dreams, we know that, yes, you've set out to achieve that dream. But then we have to realize at every point we need God, because he's the one who gave this dream. It's like the story I give of when one buys an appliance, an electronic or an appliance, and they ought to have the manual to know how to operate the appliance. So the manual will let the buyer operate the appliance in the right way that the manufacturer intended to. So for example, you buy a microwave. So it's meant for heating food. But then you can't go and use it for, putting your shoes there, like a cabinet, a shoe cabinet, because the manufacturer intended for you to use it for heating food, So in the same manner, God gives us a dream. But then it's dangerous to abandon the dream giver to go and achieve that dream on your own. Praise the Lord. So we have to ensure that we stick by the dream giver, because he's the one to guide the path, and even to provide the resources necessary for that dream to come to life, and the necessary people and connections. So you find that Joseph, deep in his heart, he knew that he was in God's mission, and he knew, yes, I'm in slavery, but still it's God's will for me to be here. Even when he was in jail, he knew God has put me here for a reason. And that is why we find that one day he wakes up as a prisoner, and then he slept as the governor of Egypt, controlling everything in Pharaoh's administration. So that is how it works when we commit our dreams to God, because it's God who gives us those dreams, and he's the one to guide us. And then all these hardships come in so as to build us in character. So we find that when Joseph endures everything, his character is built and he becomes matured in the Lord. Praise the Lord. Mm-hmm. So Joseph, when he becomes actually the leader, when he is appointed the leader, we see that in Genesis chapter 47, verse 11 and 12. Then it says, so Joseph settled his father, his brothers in Egypt, and his brothers in Egypt, and gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramesses, as Pharaoh directed. Joseph also provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with food according to the number of their children. So we see the dream of Joseph coming to be live, whereby now he brings Jacob, his father, and all his family members, those are brothers, including their wives, their children, and now he's providing for them. And we see actually in verse 11 saying, gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramesses. So they are given the best part of the land by Joseph, So his dream, the one he had dreamt of, empowering his family, came to be. Because at the end of the day, again, it's not about a dream to come for you to dominate others. It's a dream so as to lift others when the time of their need comes, So that is when now Joseph, we see him lifting his people from poverty, from hunger, from famine, from a certain need, because now he is a great leader at that time. In those times, he was one of the greatest leaders, So now his dream came to be. And that is what I'm reflecting on this book, crawling over broken glass, because once we go through the narrow road to achieve these dreams, that we are built of character, and then now we reflect what God had intended from the beginning. And of course, that one even ensures our legacy, because another thing that is so hard to live on this world is an everlasting legacy. You know, Christ left a legacy that is everlasting, years and years, including Joseph. People like Abraham, Moses, those are people who left everlasting legacies. Why? Because they trusted God's instructions in achieving their dreams. So they never left, they never abandoned the dream giver. They walked with him, and he guided them in every step of the way until their last breath on earth. Praise the Lord. So that is why we're saying, even for the legacy, it's not up to you who you leave your legacy to. As long as you follow God's ways and God's directions all the way, and you remember he's the dream giver, then your legacy is guaranteed, and it will keep and it will be there to change the generations to come. Praise the Lord. Yeah, so that is it about the story of Joseph, and of course crawling over broken glass. Yes, for today. Thank you so much.